Good morning, everyone. This is Diane at Pretty Pink Cottage. Thank you for joining me today. I am still at work on these journals. They are small journals as far as page count. They're just a one signature journal, but there is a lot of detail going on, and it's taking me quite a while to get finished with them. But we are on the last few pages. Still lots of details to do. And so I told you I would bring you along for one more. So here we are. I have this page. I love this book, and I am so sad to say that I'm using it up. I may have saved a few of these pages for in my music journal collection of pages. But other than that, there's maybe two single pages that aren't joined together left. And I love this book. It was Music Box or Automaton or something like that. Clockwork Music, that's what it was called. And it's a wonderful book. I found it at a thrift store, I think. So I just had a little strip of paper that I put aside because I thought I was done with them, and I see I need it, and I don't know where it went. So I guess the quickest thing to do would be to cut another one. That's upsetting because I already had it done. So I'm just going to cut a piece of now I can't find the paper I cut it from. Coffee dyed, oh, here's a strip. Okay, good. It's just a 1-inch wide strip, coffee dyed scrapbook paper, and I'm just reinforcing. There were a lot of holes where it was sewn in, and some of the holes tore in between the holes. So some of the pages needed reinforcing, and some of them probably didn't, but I decided to just reinforce all of them. I'll let that dry before I fold it. And then I took one of these digital pieces and backed it with this pink textured paper that I have, and then just sewed it on the flap, and it forms a little pocket on that side. And then I took a digital that I already had in my stash and stamped that on it. So it shows here, and then when you flip the flap, you have a card you can pull out and write on. And you still see all of the beautiful images on this page. The only other thing I need to do is add a cluster, paper cluster right here. And I see I need to glue this. See, I put these together while I was watching TV. So I didn't sew them or glue them, I just stapled them. So I just make sure that everything is attached properly. This is an old postcard. The postcard itself was completely damaged on the front, but I saved it to use the text part. Couldn't even see what the picture was on the postcard. It was so worn off. But I thought the text part would be fun. And I did all of the other ones, all the other pages that are like this for all 6 journals. So now those pages are complete. And I also did the other 5 of this. Now this is that page, the collection of pages that was the Curiosity, I can't remember now what it was called. Curiosity something, and it just is typed questions. Why do waves break on the shore? How does a tall tree carry water up to its top? This one has a tear right here. Oh, I put it away. I've got my box of vintage tape. This one has some pink, must have been glued to something pink so it retained some of the pink color. How fast does the air move when the wind is blowing? How do animals sleep? That's an odd question. I'm sure they're all different, but they just fall asleep like we do. I say it like it's simple. I have trouble sleeping. So how do people sleep is a question I should ask. How do they do it? All right, so then to decorate this page, I am going to use a half of a little doily. Put this tape away. Just a half a doily. And then on the original page that I did, I had this little scrap of Indian dress, an Eastern Indian dress. Just this little scrap, that's what I had, and I just glued it there. I don't have any more of that or anything like it. So I pulled out this, which was a half slip or petticoat off a dress or something that I bought in a bundle of fabrics and stuff, I guess. I don't remember now. But I just cut snippets off of this and use it for layering. So that's what I did with all the other ones. I cut one piece like this, and then I cut little sections off. So each section got smaller, obviously, but I'll glue this down and then just add this on top, and this will just hang off the page and be very pretty. I just refilled my bottles of glue. If you want to do something like this and you don't have a garment to cut up, you can obviously use pieces of lace or trim. Just make do with what you have. And I decided against reinforcing this page. I could do it on this side since it's blank, because it is a vintage page, but I'm going to take my chances with it because this journal is getting very thick. So that page is done in all of the journals. And the next page to do, this is from the first book that I did. I have a lot to do on this one. So this is a tuck spot and this is a tuck spot, and they're both made with collage on vellum. And I won't be able to finish it on camera because I just did a lot of sewing on it to finish it up. But I put this little page from a autograph book from 1935 in there, and this little collaged card that I made, tag. And there's another autograph book page in here, and a page from this really unique Christian psalmist book. Nice old page that you can use to make your own collages, and then this stamped piece from, it's a Sampool stamp from Creative Expressions. So that's all on this side, and then on this side I used stencils and spray and stamps. So we're going to do this right now. I have my spray box here. And the first thing I'm going to do is spray my stencil, but not on the paper. So I'm going to put a scrap paper in here and find my stencil. So let me talk a little bit about the stencil. Got that one. I'm not seeing the one I used. Should have had it ready. They should all be right there. Goodness, I'm such a mess. I've got those two, and I have this one and this one, but none of them are what I used, which doesn't matter because I think I'm going to use a different one anyway, but I wanted to talk about the difference. There's another one, but that's not the right one. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is spray the stencil and then lay it onto my page. And that gives this really watery looking effect. And this stencil is solid here with these little cutouts. So it gives a different look than what I would get with this one that's more lacy. So let's just spray it and see. I have my inks here that I sprayed with. Okay, this one is Distress Oxide Cracked Pistachio. And I'll move this out of the way. And just put this down on my page. And then I can spray with some water to kind of move it around. But it already soaked in, so it's not going to move around, and that's fine. I like it the way it is. I can add more with a different stencil and a different color. You can see I have more than one color on this because there's some pink here. I'll just use a different scrap paper. And a different stencil. Let's try this one. The other ones that I showed you are Creative Expressions, and they're the tailor-made designs stencils. This one I don't know the brand of. I think it's just an inexpensive one that I got somewhere. I don't know where. I've had it for a while. And I just sprayed that with a homemade spray. This is Coccineus, and it was a dye, a food dye. So I think because the other stencil was more solid, it had more solid surface on it, the ink was wetter on it, and it spread more. So that's a difference that you might want to think about when you're doing this technique. Depends on what kind of look you're going for. But this is enough color and enough interest and texture on this page, I think. I wish I could find that other stencil. But I wanted to use a different one. Oh, here it is. It fell on the floor. It's this. So you can see all the solid space. So let's try that one with the next page. This is going to dry just a little bit, and then I will stamp on it. These are waterproof inks, so I could go ahead and stamp on it right now. But I'm just going to let it dry a little bit while I do another page with this, so you can see the difference. Get my page ready. I am so discombobulated in here today. Where did I put all those other pages? There they are. Move things out of the way and then I can't find them. I just want to have one all ready to go. So again, this one I think I'll use Faded Jeans on. Oh, this one's quite dark. So I'm going to spray it before I kind of dilute it before I use it. You can see it beading up on there. So there's more ink on there because of all the surface there was on this. And I could just take this and spray it right on here to kind of blend in with that ink while it's wet. It's just fun to play around, see what effects you can get with different things. And I'll even try spraying some of the pink. So it's quite a bit different than this one. You see there's a lot more of the color on the page. So that gives you an idea of what kind of effects you get with certain types of stencils. I'll let them dry a little bit more and we'll do another page. Let's do a different stencil. I'm going to set these two aside. Let's try it with this one, but I want to wash the ink off it first. Would be interesting because the vintage photo ink would probably run onto the page and add its own color. Going back to the cracked pistachio. Get a page ready. Oh, I like that one. That one's also Lorna Taylor one. I'm going to wet it and then add a little of the pink. It's not running much. It soaks in before it runs. It spreads a little bit. But then I'm going to add stamps to it, so that will add some more texture. I want to add some of this to it also. Maybe let's do the same stencil this time. I want to put this on something. Doesn't waste the color, right? Ooh, that'll be a pretty background for something. Okay, I'm not going to clean that color off. Just add this to it a little bit. It's a little bit darker. I have one more stencil out to try. I have 2 more pages to do. I don't know if I'll do them all on camera. So I want to do the stamping. And I have this one to try. Let's try this one with the ink still on it. It has vintage photo on it. Let's do the pink because it's very pale and the vintage photo might show up more on it. You know, I should have been using regular paper. That's what I did the first page I did. Squirted this on a regular paper that I can use for other projects. That is a inexpensive paper that I don't know if it would hold up. Oh yeah, that just mostly shows the vintage photo, but there's little hints of pink in there. That's kind of cool. Now let's add some color to it. My hands are getting very colorful. This doesn't want to squirt anymore. Well, it's going to be good enough. This is very lacy, so there isn't a lot of color on the paper or on the stencil to transfer. So I think I'd like to do one that has a little more surface. Like this one has a little more surface, not as much as that other one. I just blotted that. That's pretty, isn't it? Why didn't that come off on that page? All right, I'm going to actually leave this in there and make a pretty page with this. Is this the one I'm working on? Nope, this is the one I'm working on. Okay, we're adding some more color. Okay, I will do the last page after this video because I want to get going on the stamping. I've got all these wet pages here. I'm going to wash my hands. I had glue on the tips of my fingers, so I've got color sticking to the glue. Okay, this is the last one we did, but it's probably the driest one because I didn't spray it with water. So we're going to do this. I think I have all my stamps out and ready to go. So I've stamped some ladies on here, but first I did forget about the flowers because they're very subtle. Let me just grab the flowers. Oh, I used them. They're over here where the used stamps are that I didn't clean off yet. Nope, I used a different one. I don't see it. I guess I'll, oh, here it is. It's longer and thinner than these, but it's the same style. They're all Tim Holtz. And these two came in one set, and then this one and another flower came in a different set. So I can't tell you which one is which. So I'm going to use that. And I believe I used crumb cake from Stampin' Up. It gives me the subtle color that just creates some texture. I think maybe I did stamp the lady first so I would know where to put the flowers, but I can see they're from the top of the page to the bottom of the page, so that's fine. Yep, that's very subtle. You might not even be able to see it on camera. Hey, you get back here. I'm afraid that'll fall off. So I think this page looks a little more complicated than it really is. Just spray the background and then stamp. This is one of the sets that the flowers came in, and it's called Victorian. And it has that lady and the man with no face and the finger, those stamps, and then it had some flowers with it. And the other lady is a Prima stamp. I really like this one. And it has the speckles on it, so it looks more art journal-y. See? And I'm just going to stamp a couple of words. I have 2 words from Signatures from the Past 2 by Sam Poole. So I just have one of the signatures. I think it might be this one. and oh, it's that one. Okay, doesn't really matter. I can pick whatever I want to use, but I'm definitely going to use this fancy carte postale here. And this is from Sam Poole, or from Lorna Taylor. They're both from Creative Expressions, and this is the carte postale set. This London, that's what I wanted to use, and I had, is that what this is? Yes, okay. So I have that London one, and I have this signature right here. Okay, I've got them all. And I did the ladies in a brown, Fallen Leaves, and I'm doing the words in a black. Twilight. And these are VersaFine Clear. Okay, so that is done on this side. I still have to do those two complicated looking tuck spots. Where are we? 32 minutes. I'll get started on a tuck spot. I probably won't get to finish it. But what I did was I just pulled out scraps of pieces and arranged them together, and then glued them to some vellum and cut around the vellum and sewed everything together. So let's just get that started so you can see a little bit of the process. I have my pouch of collage and pieces, and that's what I started with. That's what I made those collages with. So I guess this would be a good place to start. That's a Edith Holden page. This is Antique Music. It's very fragile, but I love the graphics on that. So I do need to have, you know, fragile is okay because I'm going to glue it to and sew it to vellum. So this, I want it out here. And you're not going to want just a delicate doily sticking out there like that, getting damaged. So that's why I decided to do it on vellum. This is a stamp that I put on vellum. I'll probably make this a smaller piece. I like this side better. And I want to put a little color in it. We can see we've got some pink in there. Let's see what we have for color in here. I love using the little bits of antique or vintage wrapping paper. Some yellow roses in here. I want to use as much of my vintage pieces like that as I can. So I save little pieces like that. What else do I need? Something to come out a little bit. be a bit of a map, or it's just the ocean. Yeah, that's a good tuck spot right there. So I would just adhere all of this to a piece of vellum. I have a pale green vellum, that's what I was using, and it came on a roll, but I cut it off the roll and folded it. So I will glue this down lightly so all the pieces are in place, and then I'll take it to my sewing machine and just, I'm using brown thread, and then, oh, I have a little lace here too, I should do that, and a little stamped piece. I like the little details on top. So after I sew the big pieces down, then I added these little pieces. So I just kind of sew around back and forth and make sure everything is attached. So that's how I will finish that one. And then I have to do a smaller one. This one has vintage wrapping paper behind it and a whole doily, some more of that music paper, some more stamped pieces. I guess that's it. So I have a lot of these to make because I have 2 in each journal and 6 journals. So I have 12 tuck spots to do, and this will be number 3 right here. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm going to take a lunch break, and I won't be back to finish these on camera. I'll just do them. And that's probably all I'm going to do, because what else do I have left? Just some stamping and gluing on this page, which I showed you yesterday. And is that everything? Oh, I have to just add a doily here. That's it. And then, you know, make the fabric pocket on the back cover and sew everything together. So I think the next video you see will be the final flip through. So yeah, we're coming along nicely, and I will see you in the next video for the final flip through. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope you'll come back to see how they all turn out. Have a creative day. Bye-bye.